Let's kick off. So it is day 21 out of 30 building in public. I am taking an idea through the build process, through the beta testing process, and to launch building entirely inside of Lovable. Now you will need to forgive my wet eyes. I have not been crying despite the new Lovable update being very good, and I'll talk about that in a moment. That's not why I'm crying. I have a cold at the moment, so bear with me if I start sneezing and if my eyes are running. I'm just very emotional about Sonnet 4.5, which just dropped. No. So on that, we had a bunch of updates yesterday. Sonnet 4.5, the new model from Claude, has been released, and it was immediately put into Lovable. So I think actually Lovable probably knew that, well, they definitely knew that Sonnet 4.5 was coming, obviously, because they have to get ready for it. But I think they also timed the release of some updates of their own. So I covered them in my news show just shortly before this live stream. Basically, they've added their own native backend. So previously, you connected to Supabase and you had to set up a Supabase account and then connect it, and there was a few manual steps. It was a bit of a pain. That has now been removed. So when you put in your first prompt, before yesterday, working with Lovable, it would go through it, create the front end, it would create the kind of basic functionality, and then it would say, hey, we need to now add the back end. We need to connect to Supabase, which for a lot of people who have never built before was a bit of a sticking point. It's like, well, what's Supabase? What's a back end? Do I need to pay for that? This looks complicated, especially when you opened up Supabase and you're like, oh my God, what is going on here? Do I need to know how to make a database? So it was a bit of a technical barrier. That's gone. They have now made it in-house, basically, so you do not need to worry about it because there's a tighter integration. It's still Supabase behind the scenes, but Lovable have basically bought it in-house. They're white labeling it, so you don't need to worry about it anymore. They've also added the ability to call on AI, so to call on ChatGPT natively within Lovable. So in the project that I'm building at the moment, we have connected up to the API. So we've manually connected to ChatGPT. That's fine. That's how we've always had to do it up until now. But now you can just have Lovable do that connection for you. So building has become even easier. So if you've been watching this live stream and you've been thinking, oh, this vibe coding stuff still looks a bit complicated, it just got a lot easier. The other thing I want to talk about quickly before I kick off is they are running a competition right now. I say a competition, it's kind of a fun activity. So they have a 7-day build challenge. Today is day 2, which is Go Bananas. So build something with nano bananas. Nano bananas? Nano banana. Is it singular? Nano banana. It's not plural, is it? Yeah, nano banana. Okay. I thought I was going mad. Okay, Lovable has written it incorrectly here. It is not nano bananas. So they have a build challenge every single day. So today is building with nano banana. They're giving away free access as well to the Google API, the Google Gemini models for the next week, so you can build for free. Tomorrow is Lovable for blank, so Lovable for engineers, Lovable for childminders, whatever it is, building your own version of Lovable, which is a weird challenge but interesting. Day 4, which will be, so this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, is building a game, so that's a lot of fun. Day 5 is building a self-improvement application. So that's going to be Friday, and then the weekend is Dream Big Final Build. So they have mystery prizes, and I think more importantly, the ability to build something in a day and to push it out, and for Lovable to kind of promote that and show it to other people, which I think is really cool. What's it say? To be eligible for the mystery prize, you need to share according to these instructions and have built with Lovable. Yeah, that's fine. Right, so if you do need another nudge to use Lovable or any vibe coding, I think now's a really good time because of this challenge and because of Lovable AI and Lovable Cloud, which has been added. Okay, that's enough of that. They're not sponsoring this stream. It's just the tool that we are using, so I wanted to talk about it. Where are we? We are building an application that allows us to, let me pull it up, generate lead magnets based off of content. So a lead magnet is a piece of value that we give away in exchange for an email address, and we're going to put a link underneath a video, so that once somebody watches the video and they're like, oh, this is cool, this is a useful video, I want to learn more, there's a link right there which will say, hey, do you want to download a checklist? Do you want to download a guide? Do you want to do a quiz related to this content? Then click on that link. It takes them to a nicely formatted page. They can give their email address and they're sent the quiz, the checklist, the guide, whatever it is, in exchange for their email address. We're building a tool that allows us to build the lead magnets using AI off the back of video content, and generate the landing page where people can claim that lead magnet. So we have built it so that it can it can currently generate from YouTube. So I can put in any YouTube video like this one, and it will create a checklist and a guide and a quiz, basically stuff that people can download. So instead of, can you see his call to actions here are things like get RevTrack. I don't even know what RevTrack is, so I might have watched this video and that might not mean anything to me. Whereas if there's a checklist about split testing, which is connected to the video topic, maybe that's more interesting, so I'll click and give my email address. So I can do YouTube videos, I can do TikTok, which I've just added, and that works, and I can do text blog articles. So what we're going to do today is actually fixing one thing in the TikTok scraper, and then we might move on and do Instagram, and then we will basically have everything. We'll have YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, which makes this powerful. But first, let me hop over to the questions to see if there are any. No, I don't think so. But hello, good morning, everybody. Sorry for it being late. I've still got this cold and everything's just taking a lot longer than it needs to. Right, let's kick off. So TikTok, what was happening is, so if I put in the video, this is Jess, I know her, so hopefully she won't mind. If I put in this video URL, no problem, that will work. However, if I do the, I don't even know how to find it, the share link, is it this? Yeah, something like this. When it has all those URLs, it will break. Or at least it was before. So let's see if that is still the case. If that is what's happening, then we need to strip out all of those additional UTMs on the back of the URL. So UTM is Urchin Tracking Module. Urchin Tracking Module. Nailed it. So whenever you see one of those long web addresses, oh, that worked. Whenever you see one of these long web addresses like this, with all these kind of like question mark is from web app equals 1 at sender device equals PC web ID blah blah blah. These are UTMs. They're basically a way to send tracking information through a web address. Previously that was breaking it from working, but it isn't anymore, which worries me because I haven't actually changed anything. Okay, I'll use Sarah's this link. I think it wasn't working. Let's try that again. I don't like when things just fix themselves. That makes me worry because it means it might break again. So I'd rather something consistently be broken, so at least I can work out what is making it not work. If this works, I'm going to be annoyed. Upcoming says we can't see it well. Yeah, that's because you're on TikTok. Sorry. There's no way for me to share the screen properly without buying a whole PC, which is a bit of a push. If you go on YouTube instead, you can see everything in 4K. You can see the screen. It's much better. So what I'm doing on TikTok is I've got my double camera on and I've got the phone sitting in front of my face. All right. So unfortunately, this has actually worked. So I don't know why that is, which worries me. Oh, that's cool. I just made a are you falling in love with ChatGPT lead magnet? I want to see this, an AI relationship checklist. I'm a bit worried about what this will be. It'll be about how to have a good AI boyfriend or girlfriend. Hey Layla, how are you? Professional boundary. Okay, it still made it very sensible. That's because it's going to ChatGPT to help generate this lead magnet. So ChatGPT was given, hey, can you make me an AI girlfriend checklist, please? And ChatGPT is returned with a assess your emotional readiness before building connections with AI companions. Okay, which is very ChatGPT 5. If it was 4.0, we'd probably be getting very different results, because 4.0 is a lot more open for that kind of thing, which is probably why a lot of people fell in love with 4.0. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So we can now get any video from YouTube, we can get any video from TikTok, we can put in a blog article. Pretty cool. And so let's go ahead and add Instagram. So like we've done with the other ones, we need to come over to Apify and we need to work out an Apify actor. Now this actually said, the one that I'm using, which works really well, actually said if you want to get Instagram, you can use something else. Here we go. Importing Instagram is not supported in this actor. To transcribe Instagram videos, use this. The tool may also work. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to check out this one. I should open it in here. There we go. Try for free. $35 per 1,000 results. So that is 3.5 cents per use. Is that right? Yeah, 3.5 cents per use. It's not cheap, but it's not bad. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will try Instagram. Let's see what it gives us first. Ross, I'm going to grab one of yours. I hope that's okay. Thank you, Ross. Actually, does that have audio? No, it doesn't have audio, because what we want to do is grab from one Ross.
Outbound is created.
I'm using people that I know and I'm friends with, but technically we could pull information from anyone. So let's go back and let's test this scraper. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in the post ID. Now that's a post, not a reel. I'm not sure if that's a problem, but let's try it. So the tool I'm using here is Apify, which is basically a scraping platform which allows me to pull information from social media platforms. I could do this from my app, but it's risky because if my app becomes popular and lots of people are sending requests, then suddenly my app seems to be accessing Instagram, 1,000 times a minute, and Instagram will block the IP address. You can mitigate that with rotating IP addresses, with proxies, blah blah blah. Too much hassle. We're just trying to build something basic and get it launched for now. So we're using Apify. This means that we pay for each usage. So this just cost me 0.0035. So 3.5 cents to pull this information. So this allows me, I can see the description. I've got a thumbnail. I can see the handsome looking Ross there. And where's my, here we go, description, here we go, and then we have the transcript. I don't do any cold, any outbound, it's all inbound. My outbound is creating content and putting it out into the world, etc, etc. So this has grabbed Ross's words. That's what he has said. So this works. So what we need to do is we're going to set up this new actor and we're going to connect it. So I'm going to use voice to describe what I want to do to Lovable. I want Lovable to do, and then it's going to, and then it's going to help me build that. Hey Lovable, that's great. The TikTok Apify actor is working. The YouTube Apify actor is working. I want to add Instagram. So again, we are going to use a different Apify actor. So we need to build this from scratch. Do not reuse the code from the past two modules because they will not work. I'm going to give you the documentation for this new actor. I'm going to give you the Apify address so you know where to access it, and you're going to help me set it up. This is for Instagram, so we need to activate the button, the Instagram button on the dashboard, and activate the URL input so we can add the video. I want this to work for both Reels and posts. Please, I don't know if there's going to be a difference, but work that out with Apify. So I will give you the documentation after this message. Thank you. So I can use natural language. I don't need to write code. I don't even need to type in order to explain what I want to do. So we're now going to grab the information from this page, which is just talking about the actor. And then I'm going to grab where it is. So this is the name of it, InVideoIQ/video transcriber. I'm going to put that near the top because that's quite important. It's at, and then what else? I'll ask, and then just for safety, because yesterday I rushed this, ask me any clarifying questions. I'm just going to have it query me on missing details. So yesterday, because I had a much worse cold and my brain was not working, I put in the ability for it to connect to TikTok, but it basically reused information from the YouTube integration, and it kind of assumed it was doing the same thing, which was incorrect, and it was my fault to a certain extent for not communicating clearly. So all I'm saying at the end of all of this, I'm giving it all of the information. I'm saying, here's the documentation, please have a look at it. Do you have any questions? So it's going to ask me questions, hopefully before it kicks off. Nope, it did not. Awesome, great. So it did not ask me any clarifying questions, which is not ideal. If I wanted to force that, what I can do is click on the chat button down here, and that means that it cannot implement anything until you say okay. So that's, again, that's kind of my fault, kind of its fault, because it definitely just ignored me. I'm not too worried though, because I've given it enough information, so it should be fine. Right, I'm just going to check questions. That's interesting. I haven't had anyone yelling at me and telling me to use cursor for a few days. Normally you do. The reason I'm using Lovable is I want to show that this is possible for anybody to do. And I'm also using my voice. I'm not typing code. I'm keeping this very high level, and you can basically watch me in real time put together an application and hopefully get it to market and launch it. I'm also working on this for 1 hour per day. Believe me, I would like to do a lot more. I also have 300 credits left, which is like a couple of $100 worth, and they're about to refresh today. So I'm about to have 1,100 credits. So I have a lot of credits. What I'm doing is I'm limiting the time I spend building to show that anyone at home can spend an hour a day chipping away at a project and build something valuable, either something that you use yourself to be more productive or something you can sell. So Instagram integration is now live. So it's gone ahead and just done it. So let's see if it works. Integration with lead magnet. Okay, it's so what we're going to do, anyone who's seen any of these before will know that we don't trust the AI. When the AI says perfect, I've done it, then we do not believe it. So it says Instagram integration is now live, exclamation mark. Just because it says that doesn't mean it's true. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab Ross's video again, and then we're going to pop over to our, got a security scan. Financial transaction records could be manipulated. Well, right now there are no financial transactions, so I don't know what that means, but we will update that. I'm going to do that. I'll swing back to that in a minute. But there's no payment in the app, so I don't quite know what it's seeing. but we'll fix that. So Lovable has a built-in security scan, which can basically look for potential security issues, security leaks, etc. Don't know what it's finding in this case, but we'll have a look in a minute. Okay, I think that's done. I'm going to come to dashboard. So we have Instagram here now. That has been activated. We're going to put in that Instagram. Just squeeze that a bit for you on TikTok so it's a bit easier to see. I'm going to now check if that works. I don't think it will work. There we go. I assumed it wasn't going to work first time. Very rarely will it, but that's fine. So I've got a couple of error codes here. I'm just going to grab those, just the two of them. Okay, right, so I'll talk to it. Okay, so the Instagram button is live. I entered a URL into the dashboard and got an error message. I'll paste the error message below. Can we, like we did with the TikTok integration yesterday, can we create just a blank, a new page, which is just a very basic URL input, so we can put in an Instagram URL and receive the raw JSON from Apify, so just a testing page like we did with TikTok. Thanks. I'll also give you the error codes for context. So it didn't work. I did not expect it to. Very rarely will it work first time, and that's fine. It's just part of the process. The question is, what do we do now? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a page that looks a bit like, I think I've still got the other one. Yes, I do. So yesterday, when I was adding TikTok, I created a very basic page like this. Just all it is a way to test whether the code works. So all it has is one input here, which is you enter the web address, and then it would spit out the raw output, which gets sent back to us. The reason we do this is it's a way to strip back all of the other functions and interface that could get in the way and make this not work. So we strip it right back to the raw text being sent back and forward. If that works, cool, then we can work out the next steps. Okay, so it has made me an Instagram test page. Instagram, was it just Instagram dash test? Yes. Okay, so Instagram Apify function test, we're going to grab that URL again, we're going to plug it in and see what happens. So what I also need to be doing is checking in this back in Apify whether it works. So this is the one. So what time is it? 1:42. So this is the one that I did initially, and it worked in the console. You can see Ross there, and this is one that I just did. Oh, interesting, I can see Ross there. There we go. So this shows me, this is the raw JSON, basically the output, which is coming from Apify. So what's happened here is I put the address in here, I pressed test, my application has sent this address over to Apify here. Apify has run that in the input. If we look, here we go, there's the input. It has that Instagram URL, and then from there it has spat out this output, which has the, oh, where is it? Oh, all fields, there we go, which has the transcript in here. And then that transcript has been sent back to my application, and we can see it here. So it's like a two-way return journey, excuse me. So cool, that means we are managing to get information from Instagram. That works. So we're going to report back to Lovable and say, hey, we're getting it, cool. So what's going wrong? Okay, Lovable, that test has worked. Thank you for creating the Instagram test page. I put in a test URL. It successfully went to Apify. Apify successfully scraped the transcript. The transcript was successfully sent back to my application, and I can see the raw JSON in the Instagram test page. So the backend functionality is working. Thank you very much for that. So we need to now work out why we got that error. It may be what you just told me with the slash instead of the tilde. So I'm going to go ahead and test that first. If not, I'll return to you. So I forgot that it said that it already found it. So let's quickly test. It might have already fixed this, which will be pretty exciting. Otherwise, we'll work out what's going on. Oh, this is good. If it was going to crash, it probably would have crashed by now. There we go. So it has all 350 words from Ross. I don't do any cold, any outbound. So an inbound marketing success checklist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a lead magnet based off Ross's video. I'm using Ross's. I could have used one of mine. I don't know why I'm using Ross's. So it's now created an inbound marketing success checklist for entrepreneurs. Acknowledge the limitations of cold outreach, commit to building your authority, choose a primary platform, consistent schedule, share valuable insights, etc., etc. So it has created that. Awesome. So if that was my video, I could just put that lead magnet underneath my video and use it to generate leads for my business. Awesome. Or if I'm entrepreneurial, I could create these for other people. Like I could create this for Ross, and then I could contact Ross and say, hey Ross, I've actually made you lead magnets for every single one of your videos. Yeah, all 500 videos you've done in the last 6 months. I've done lead magnets for every single one of them. And I've generated you landing pages for every single one of them. Are you interested? I can sell them to you, or you put me on retainer for $4,000 a month, whatever it is, and I will continue to make you lead magnets every single day, and I will make you landing pages. So you could also sell this to other people. So here, for example, is what the landing page for that would look like. I put in there you go, and once the email is entered, it shows me the lead magnet. Very basic, very simple, and it works. Okay, so we now have the ability to pull from YouTube, from TikTok, from Instagram, and text. LinkedIn, I don't know why I added LinkedIn. I don't want to get LinkedIn videos. No, we're done. Okay. Yeah, we're done. All right, so we need to now tidy up and get ready for launch. For the beta launch. If you would like to be in the beta, join the newsletter. It's free, and on Saturday I'll announce it and give out codes for joining up. All I would ask is I'm looking for feedback as well. So as long as you can give feedback, awesome. A few things. I'd love to get the thumbnails in here because this looks crap. So we want to get the thumbnails in here. Also, this one failed, which is why it doesn't work. Let's have a look. View content. Yep, so we've got his whole video there. All right, so we are now tidying things up and getting ready for launch because we have the basic functionality in play. I did not think we'd get that done quite as quick today, so we're only halfway through the stream. I'm kind of tempted to, for fun, to go and build a Nano Banana based app because that is Lovable's competition today. And it would be fun to do, but I need to stay focused. So we can pull from YouTube, we can pull from Instagram, we can pull from TikTok. Sick. Awesome. All right. Let's tidy up. So, don't need that. Perfect. That is now working. So, I would like to do some tidy up on the dashboard. One, can we get rid of the LinkedIn soon? I'm not going to add LinkedIn. I don't know why that was there, so get rid of that. 2, the thumbnails are missing from the TikTok and the Instagram videos in particular. Also, I'm not sure if that's interesting. I'm not sure if Instagram has been added as a source because the last video we generated, check the logs, is showing as a text when in fact it was from an Instagram. So I think that is being incorrectly allocated. Let's start with those 3 changes. Thank you. So if I was being a bit more cautious, I would do changes one at a time. Vibe coding tools choke if you give them too much, which is often a big problem. Somebody will fire up a vibe coding tool and be like, build Salesforce for me, make me a new Salesforce, and it will understandably choke. It will not be able to do that. Remember that models have context window limitations, so if you add in a huge amount of information, they're not going to be able to deal with all of that information at the same time. So generally, we want to give them small focused tasks. So even me giving it 3 tasks right then was a little bit lazy, but I'm trying to make sure it's less dull to watch. It's always going to be a balance on the live stream between making sure that this is educational in that I'm using best practices, but also entertaining in that I can move at a faster pace. Which is why sometimes you'll see me, if there's a particular error or something that is intransigent and it just won't fix for whatever reason, I will just say I'm going to move on and I'll deal with that off stream, because it's very boring to watch me deal with the responsiveness of a page for 40 minutes on a live stream. So do forgive me for that. Here we go. Instagram is creating duplicate transcript entries, 1 correct, 1 wrong. Is that what happened here? Yes. Okay. So these are the same thing. It's just created 2 entries. So one is just called a video by Ross Flederjohn, and the other one actually has the title, which is I don't do any cold, any outbound. Done. Fixed LinkedIn removal. Instagram source type now correctly saves, and thumbnail should properly save. Okay, let's give it a shot. It has also lost the security warning that it was showing me before, the one about financial transactions, which at the time I said shouldn't really be an issue because there are no financial transactions on this application. But I'm always a bit wary when something pops up and then it disappears. It's not ideal. Right, let's do it with someone who's not Ross. This is always a bit risky going through my social media because thankfully it's all AI educational content, because it could go horribly wrong if it was just all women in bikinis. Let's get one from, let's do Sabrina. We'll do Shen. So I'm going to copy that link. So this is Instagram. So let's see if this UTM causes a problem, because it did previously for TikTok. Oh, am I stupid? Should I even have a selector? It doesn't need a selector, does it? I've built this, oh, you can't see it anymore, but the selector on the dashboard between the different sources based on the fact that I was building each as an individual module. But really, somebody should be able to put in a URL and it should not care whether it's TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, because it can see where it's from and it can route to the correct place. Okay, so this is Shen's video. It's only 21 words. What's she talking about? Did she only say 21 words? Oh god. Alright, that's my fault. I've used one where she's not talking. Okay, entirely my fault. Okay, we'll use Adam's, because Adam's talking at least. So what is it? Instagram. There we go. So plug in Adam's video. So I'm testing to see whether the thumbnail is saved, and we're going to have to check that with TikTok as well, and we're going to check if it's still doing the duplicate entry like it did with Ross's video. Oh, hey Steve. Can I turn up the microphone volume? Yeah, I can. How's that? I've turned up the gain. I'm back to using the DJI Mic 2, because my DJI Mic 3, which I bought a few days ago, I hadn't actually charged it, and it totally died, and it takes forever to charge up apparently. So I'm back on the other one. Here we go. Character animation project checklist. So this is based on, what was he talking about? First open source model built for character animation. So there we go. That is the right one. Tell me if that microphone's okay. I don't have a fine control, unfortunately. So hopefully I'm not yelling at you. So that has created the checklist. That works. What I'm going to do is create this ultimate guide. So lead magnet types PDF guide. Source video is video by Adam Stewart. You should follow all these people, by the way. They're all great creators. Ah, well that's not right. Okay, but that's something we can deal with. So it has created the content, that's a bit ugly because that's used Markdown, but it's not rendering it as Markdown. These are small problems that we can deal with, but it has done the rest of it. What I'm here to do is not check this, is to check whether it saved it properly. Yes, it saved it as 1. It's got the source content, yes, but it does not have the thumbnail. Let's quickly do a TikTok. We'll use there's Shen, Jess, we'll use Marcin. Again, follow all these people. So we'll do a TikTok. I want to see if the thumbnail gets saved. Otherwise, it has not managed to do what I wanted. What did it say? Fixed. LinkedIn removal is done. Instagram source type is done. It did that, and thumbnails are properly saved from TikTok and Instagram is not done as far as I can tell. Ooh, what happened here? This is the problem that I was having earlier with this share link being weird. So I think if I do this, it will work. So this is a problem I need, an actual problem I need to fix. Okay, so the UTMs. Oh no, it's not the UTM. So I think, bizarrely, if I get it from... If I get it from here, this is fine. But if I get it from the other... If I get it from the feed, it won't work. So the URLs are different. So I need to actually have a look at them properly. This particular video, by the way, is Marcin's new vibe coding community, which I'm in, and I highly recommend you joining. This is Sabrina giving him a shout out. Sabrina doesn't promote anything. That, like, anyone who knows Sabrina will know that about her. So the fact that she is giving Marcin a shout out and saying, hey, you need to join Marcin's community is a big deal. A big deal. Right, my TikTok is broken. Why is it broken? What's the date today? 30th is this. Okay, there's Adam. No, this is... Well, this is very confusing that these have the same icon. So this one here is the one that gets TikTok. Okay, so my scrape is working, but the TikTok information is not being pulled back. Why? Okay, so we have a couple of problems now. We have the fact that TikTok functionality is broken. Let me try it with a video that did work before. and see if it's... No, we shouldn't do that because it might have a cache. The TikTok functionality is broken, so we need to fix that. The second thing is the thumbnail is not saving, so we need to fix that. The third thing is the PDF guide is using the YouTube video embed, which is fine because when I built it, it was based around the YouTube video, but we need to also adapt it for the Instagram and TikTok, and probably the text too, to show a null or no video, but we can get to that in a minute. So so the thumbnails, will come back to the thumbnails because that's less important than the core functionality. Thanks for that. The thumbnails are still not working, but let's disregard them for now. We will come back to them. More worrying is TikTok. I can no longer scrape from TikTok, so we need to diagnose what's going on. Quickly do this. The TikTok test page is still working. So the problem is not there. The JSON is still arriving, the raw JSON in the TikTok test. So the error is probably between the JSON arriving and the lead magnet creation. Thank you. So what might have happened is when I created the Instagram module, something might have happened with the TikTok module. This is always a bit of a risk. This is one of the advantages of like traditional coding over vibe coding. Vibe coding, you have less control over what's going on. You can tell it, do not touch the other bits, do not touch this, do not touch the stuff that's working. But it might still, might forget that instruction, or it might change something it doesn't think is part of a working module, etc., etc. Yeah, so there we go. What's happened? TikTok's still using the old two-step flow: get transcript, then call, generate lead magnet text, while Instagram was updated to do it all in one. So I don't know if that actually changed. So it's probably broken my YouTube one as well. So it made changes to Instagram, and when we added the Instagram module, as we did 20 minutes ago, but that has broken the past two ones, which is very annoying. So let's hop in and see if that's true or if it's BSing me. So I'm going to grab this Marcin and Sabrina, because it's getting the information from the video. That's fine. It's pulling it into the website. That's fine. But then it's failing to create the lead magnets. Let's see if I might need to push first. And I have the horrible feeling it's also done it to YouTube. In which case I could just say, can you not, why have you converted it? The two-step process was working before, why have you made a one-step process? But let's give it a shot. Not very happy about this. So console. Actually gonna do that one more time because I'm not sure if I was using the refresh version. How are we doing? Got 15 minutes. I'm happy because we've added Instagram. Oh, ooh. What happened there? That crashed out entirely. Just as I was saying, I'm happy because we've added Instagram. That was a catastrophic crash. Excuse me. 725 error messages. Right. So I'm actually going to roll back to the one just before it changed whatever it just changed, because whatever it's done has been catastrophic. So we're going to use restore, which will allow us to just quickly roll back to when it was working, and then we'll just update it, kind of flush the cache, make sure it's clean, test it again, and then go again. And we're going to spend a little bit more time. This is preview. How do I? So it's restored. Where's the button that? So I might need to go full screen here. No, that seems to be fun. Again, unfortunately, this is part of the process, and some people get very annoyed and they throw away their toys. Basically, they're like, it's trash. I spent hours building this thing. It's like, well, yeah, you're still building something. Like, this is still not foolproof. You still need to put in some work. So I don't think this is going to work, but it shouldn't crash out the whole page. Fine. So we're back. Let's do a quick check. Let's make sure Instagram's working. Which one should we do? We need to make sure there's speech in it, otherwise it's not helpful. So there we go. Instagram. Enter a valid Instagram. Why is it struggling with that? It was all going so well. Where do I grab it from? Oh, here. So okay, it's struggling when it's not the exact URL format it wants. So we're going to have to look into that and make sure that all the different URLs, from all the different share points, like whether you grab it from the browser, whether you use Instagram's built-in share, etc., whether you right click on it and click copy link, we need to make sure they all work, which is going to be a pain. It's also the kind of thing that beta testing would be useful for. Okay, so that works. So okay, so the TikTok scraper is not working. The JSON is arriving. That is not a problem. It's the creation of the lead magnet, and it's, I think, because you adjusted the lead magnet creation when you created the Instagram module. However, the TikTok integration was working just fine, so you should not have touched how it was working. There is no need to adjust the TikTok functionality because it worked. So revert it to that version, or it's fine to use the two-step process, because both Instagram and TikTok can be handled separately. They do not need to go through exactly the same flow. Thank you. I'm not entirely sure what the problem is, but because we've done a rollback, we're just going to try again to get it fixed, but without it necessarily trying to conform it to what it's just done with Instagram, because I didn't ask it to do that, but because that's kind of what's most recently in its memory, what it's recently just done, it seems to be assuming that that's how I want it, which is incorrect. You were charged tokens despite the error and rolling back. Yep. Yeah, you get charged. There's talk of Bolt adding in, let's see if they've announced it. Bolt AI, Bolt.new, of them adding in a returning your tokens to you. I don't know how they're going to do that exactly, because I could have it do some work and then immediately be like, nah, it's rubbish, and get my tokens back, but kind of keep the work. I'm sure they've thought of a clever way to do it. But yes, you lose your tokens when you hit a dead end. But that's fair because they have spent money using the model. So Claude is in the background here. So even if we hit a dead end, the work has been done. The effort has been exerted. So it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to give it a go. But yes, I know people get annoyed about that they get charged when it doesn't work. You're getting charged for the effort, not the result, if that makes sense, which I think is a more healthy reframing. Otherwise, people get very angry on Reddit. Like, it didn't work and I spent money. It's like, well, yeah, sometimes that happens in life. Right, let's try. Instagram. No, what am I doing? We know Instagram's fine. Oh wait, did Instagram just not work? All right, let's check Instagram. God damn it. Now, if TikTok works, this is going to be very funny. Okay. So we've broken TikTok and Instagram now. How much time do we have? 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Okay. So. Where do we want to go to? Do you want to roll back or try and... I'm going to roll back because I know what I want now. I just need to get there more carefully this time. I wonder if the fact that I like difficult video games like Dark Souls and Hollow Knight is connected to this. So LinkedIn is back here. I don't mind redoing it because now I know what I need to do, if that makes sense. So it's easier to do and it will be faster. So quickly check Instagram. We'll probably have the problem where it creates the two entries. So it'll create one text and one Instagram. That's fine. We know about that now. We just need to work out where TikTok broke. Okay. Oh look, ChatGPT. That actually brings up a really good question about being able to edit. Because I'm worried. So ChatGPT is a word that never gets transcribed right. It comes out as chatty petty, ChatGPT. I've had chat LGBT, which is one of my favorite. So when someone gets transcribed wrong, it's going to go into the lead magnet incorrectly. So we kind of need to give people the ability to edit. So that error is useful for me to see, right? Okay, so this means that this got broken a little earlier. So enable Instagram button, validation, so get transcript with Instagram Amplify. Using the video transcriber actor. That is, they have different names. So this is, yeah, video transcriber and video transcript scraper. I'm a little worried it got them mixed up, but I don't think it has. Okay, okay, Lovable, the Instagram Apify actor that you've added is working. However, in doing so, you seem to have changed something which has broken the TikTok Apify actor. We have previously had a conversation about this, and then I rolled you back. But in the previous conversation, we talked about, or you talked about, how you had done the Instagram lead generation step in one step instead of two steps, whereas TikTok was done in two steps. I think you might have tried to make them the same, and therefore you've broken the TikTok flow. Can you look through your versions, or look through what we've covered, and try and work out where you've made that change, what change was made, and either revert it or work on a fix for me. Give me 3 possibilities for why TikTok was broken when you created the Instagram integration, and then tell me which one you think is most likely, and then we'll work from there. Thank you. So I've put it into chat mode, because I do not want it to just run off and make the same mistake again, which it will do. So instead we're going to try and verify. It's going to give me a couple of possibilities. I'm going to ask for ways for me to test whether or not a certain possibility is correct, and then we'll go from there. So first it needs to go back through. Hopefully we can fix it. I've got 3 minutes left. So we took, this has been 2 steps forward, 1 step back, because we added Instagram. It worked really well, surprisingly well, but then we found out that TikTok had been broken by adding Instagram. So we need to work out what's going on. Now I see the issue. Maybe. Now I understand the problem. Let me also check. Well, what are you going to tell me? Let me also check what's happening with the content being passed. Right. 3 most likely. So data flow mismatch in dashboard. Problem. Yes. First get the transcript from the Apify Edge. Yes. Then call generate lead magnets text to create lead magnets. However, I can see generate lead magnets text is receiving content that's too short. Okay. Response format inconsistency between edge functions. So we have 2. Yep. Okay. So they're both returning different formats. Yes. Configuration drift. Nope. It's not that. So from the logs I can see the Apify function is working correctly. Yes, we have checked that. Let's quickly confirm that using this. So this should return the JSON. Yes, there we go. This guy made $135,000 with his vibe coded act. You're the absolute goat. So that is correct. The TikTok Apify function is working correctly with the transcripts being returned. I can see that inside the TikTok tester that we created. Oh. Oh. This is literally, I think this might literally be because the content is too short, like it's saying. So I think that there's not enough here. Oh, I'm an idiot. So we're going to pull through. So it hasn't actually broken, it's me. It looks like it's broken but it's coming from a different source. Let's test this, in which case it's not broken. I'm just testing it on the wrong video because that video's content is too short. Which brings up another problem, which is if somebody puts in a video that has very little content, we need to return that. We need to, oh my God. Unbelievable. Okay, so I was just using the wrong video when it came to the test. That's it. So there is no problem. Unbelievable, but fine. So what that means is we need it to fail more gracefully. If a video like that Marcin video is put in and it has less than 100 words in the transcript, we need to basically return, hey, this is not long enough. It's not going to make a good lead magnet. Please use a different one. Okay, you are correct. This is a me problem. I uploaded a TikTok video which had very little content in it, and it is, as you say, it's less than 100 words or characters. What we need to do though is make sure that the process fails gracefully so that the user knows this. Otherwise they are, like myself, just going to assume that the application is not working and that there is some kind of critical error. So we need to tell them this content is too short. Can we add that to all of the tools? So that needs to be a new error code for YouTube, for the blog or the text input, for Instagram, and for TikTok. Yep, all of the tools. If it is below a certain amount, let's say 100 words, then we need to tell them that and ask them to please upload something with more content. Thank you. Okay, so it turns out the problem is not inherent to the app. The problem is what I was trying to test it on. However, if one of my customers is using this, if a user in the beta test is using it, they're not going to know that. They're going to have exactly the same reaction that I just had, which is, oh, it's broken. They're not going to think, oh, the content's too short. So what we need to do is we need to have an error message which comes up and it says, hey, you need to add more content. The alternative is we get rid of the content requirement or the word count. However, we'll end up with very generic lead magnets because ChatGPT is just going to create a lead magnet using what it has. And if it's given very little, it will make the rest of it up, so the quality will decrease. And the whole purpose of this is to be able to give it raw material. Otherwise I could just go to ChatGPT and say make a lead magnet. It's going to be generic, but it would be able to do so. The whole purpose of this and the value proposition is I can give it a 40-minute long video of me talking about a subject and it will be able to break that down into a PDF guide and a checklist, which is much more valuable. Okay, so now we're going to do Marcin's video. See what happens. Now it should say, hey, this isn't long enough. Sort it out. Unfortunately, I still need to pay for this on my end. Okay, I copied in the wrong video. I need Marcin's video, please. Something went wrong. Okay, so that is not what I wanted, but it is the end of the stream, so I'm going to have to fix it. That's a relatively small thing. We've managed to work out what it is. So, summary. We have successfully added, despite that error message, we've successfully added Instagram. So we can now get content from YouTube, any YouTube video, any TikTok video, any Instagram video, or text, for example, from a blog. LinkedIn I'll get rid of because it's irrelevant. So we can now get from pretty much any social media channel and turn it into lead magnets. Pretty cool. And then from those lead magnets build landing pages as well. Great. We've managed to create a new security error and some other errors that I will fix and deal with. But the main thing is we have added Instagram functionality, so we now have everything that we need to move on to the next stage. We just need to tidy it up, which I was hoping to do in the last half of the stream, but was foisted by a problem that was not a problem, but seemed like a problem to me. That's fine, we've made progress. This has been day 21. We're going to be moving forward. We've got 30 days, so we're starting to run out of time. Got a couple of weeks, but I'm hoping to still be able to launch it as a beta test on Saturday. So make sure you are subscribed to the newsletter if you want to get a beta key. That will be free and you'll be able to play around with it. All that I ask is you give some feedback and you help me to improve it. And then the following week, I'm going to prep it up for a launch and getting it out and selling it as a product. That is the plan anyway. And then I'm going to continue making new products, one a month, in 1 hour a day for 30 days in a row. And if you want to join me on this, please do, because I will be shouting out other builders. I'll be helping you promote it. I'll be helping you show people on the live streams and on YouTube afterwards what it is you've built. So please do join and to reach out if you're going to be doing that. Awesome. Right, let's wrap it up. I'm pretty happy with that progress, despite the last 20 minutes or so being a bit wasted. We are getting there. Thank you guys.